We wrote the Educator's Guide to Emotional Intelligence primarily because we feel that teachers were the one group that was not getting a chance to really understand what does it look like when you bring emotional intelligence into your classroom. Emotional intelligence actually has more to do with kids' academic success than most teachers recognize. Academic success is going to be a product of children's ability to be in the classroom with their peers, to participate in the classroom, to be organized in the way they do assignments, to have a respectful understanding of what other kids are saying, to have empathy for their classmates, all the things that make up a positive, caring, productive, and challenging classroom. That is exactly what emotional intelligence is about. So we designed a book that was written by the folks who are actually doing the work in the field. And we tried to do something that we thought actually reflected the topic itself. Each chapter in the book begins with a story about how the work looks in action in a classroom. And after the reader gets a feel for what the topic is like, then comes an explanation of a little bit about what it means, and then really future references. So each chapter is meant to be a short snippet of what does this really look and feel like in the classroom. And we also asked every author to put in each chapter activities that a teacher can take and use Monday morning in the classroom. So for example, in one of the chapters, there's a guide to how to conduct a morning meeting with your students. How do you have them come in from all the difficult things they're dealing with every day at home and on the way to school, and come in about 10 or 12 minutes, decompress, have a chance for an emotional release, and then actually go into the rest of the school day being perfectly ready to learn. And that chapter comes from the folks who did the responsive classroom program. So we tried to organize the book in that particular way so that teachers literally from preschool through high school will find not only interesting reading, but practical things that they can apply. We organized the Educator's Guide to Emotional Intelligence and Academic Achievement by first starting out to show how emotional intelligence connects to almost every subject matter that teachers deal with. So the very first chapter is about emotional intelligence and how it contributes to academic success. The next couple of chapters deal with the brain basis of emotional intelligence and how it plays out in students' growth and how their cognitive growth and emotional growth turn out to be the determinants of their ability to deal with their academics. Then we go on and have a wonderful chapter on the way in which character, emotional intelligence, and service all come together to deal with academic performance. And then there's a connection to the multiple intelligences, to health, and to teachers' own professional development. After that first part comes a large second part where we have folks who have been doing emotional intelligence and academic achievement work in classrooms from preschool through high school, each contributing chapters. And these chapters consist of specific applications in the classroom. The applications are things that include worksheets and particular tips and activities that teachers can use. For example, in one chapter that comes from a program called Raising Healthy Children, there's a worksheet that shows how children can be taught to self-assess as lessons are going on so they can keep track of whether or not they're really learning what the teacher is teaching. And teachers find this to be a very helpful tool. Now, the whole process of reflection is one of the most important facets of emotional intelligence in the classroom. So that's one example. Another chapter for high school students called Facing History and Ourselves. And Facing History is a program that helps children understand what happens when countries get involved in genocide. It builds a tremendous amount of empathy as kids explore what we've done to one another in the past because of a lack of understanding, and really a lack of education and a lack of application of emotional intelligence. And students in facing history begin to explore their own history, their own personal life history, and begin to understand, well, who am I? And what has my family history and culture brought me at this particular moment in time? So it leads students to interact in a much deeper and more thoughtful way with their peers, as they see their peers as not just kind of individuals, but as sort of repositories of histories and culture. Really, we want every kid to kind of say, you know, there's more to it than I might think, and give a spirit of inquiry and kind of deeper empathy for their classmates. So after that section, the final section really kind of concludes and gives teachers a chance to reflect on what does the work itself mean for me as a teacher, and how can I bring this to my students in a more systematic way.